Okay. So last time we started to talk about what is AI, and we discussed a couple of things about AI, which everybody, I think, except for Danny, has already went through that, and we also differentiate what is not AI, what is AI, what is automation, and what is not. What is AI? Automation is not AI, and what are the statement is true about AI, and AI data is a fundamental reason that AI success. Okay, and then why do we want you guys to do AI and data science? Because you can make a lot of money and it's a lot of fun, and you will be really learning about cutting edge of research and product. And we also talk about like data science skills is a spectrum. You don't nobody have full spectrum of all these skills. There are some very STEM focused skills like machine learning, statistics. SQL is not that STEM, it's more like informatics. We will talk about that later. It's for managing database, programming. You do some coding. Big data is a little bit computational heavy, and then communication, visualization, storytelling, and the domain knowledge are not STEM focused fields. And nobody, so to use data science or AI is to develop a product, you always work with a team. So you'd have all team members that add together to cover the full spectrum of this. Of course, it's also defined by it is also defined by what kind of product it wants to develop. So and then there's a lot of ways you can learn. YouTube, different channel, and this is how much they make. And then did we go through this? Data, information, knowledge, and wisdom.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so we discussed what is data, right? Hello?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Danny, you were on the call?
Yeah. No, like the one last time.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, okay. So since this is maybe new topic for you and Navia. Can you give me what is your understanding of data? What is the data, basically? Because then we will talk about data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. So you have to first understand what is data. Danny, can you tell me what is data?
It's like some statistic or some like numbers and that were collected to use for analyze or like everything, because like it's now like everything is using the data.
Yes, correct. And we can definitely to go more when we discuss about the triangles, the pyramids of data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. So Navia, what is your understanding of data?
Data is like quantitative information that you can use to analyze and get results off of.
Yeah, that is one aspect of data. So actually data have quantitative and qualitative data, and there are all kinds of types of data. Okay, so I think you all have basic understanding of the topics. Now let's do watching the data, information, knowledge, and wisdom pyramid. So by this, you will really getting a firm understanding of how those different concepts connected. Let me see, how do I? Oh yeah, I have to kind of stop sharing and go to this YouTube. I think we didn't watch this. Even if we watch that, it's still useful to watch it again. Okay. Let me say share, and I need to include computer sound. Good. So let's do this.
The DIKW hierarchy model represents the relationships between data, information, knowledge,
Is
and
it too
Mathematicians would describe this with a
let
formula,
me turn on.
but most others draw a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid, we have turned the insights into a learning experience that guides our actions to reach our goal and lowering risks. Each step in the pyramid answers questions about and adds value to the initial data. Data are symbols that represent properties of objects and events. At the data level, we know nothing. When we add context to the data, it becomes information and make it more useful. If information has been understood such that it explains the how and the why, it becomes knowledge. Wisdom involves guiding one's future actions. Data, information and knowledge are about the past. Wisdom is about the future. An example, it's raining. The temperature dropped and the humidity went up. This is caused by lower pressure areas, which prevent the air from holding moisture. Based on the observations and maths model, we can predict why and when it will rain in the future. What we are most interested in is the action part. How do we make data useful? Because without action it makes little sense to convert data into wisdom. The DIKW pyramid provides guidelines, but is still a model, a strong simplification of reality.
Okay. So we have another video can watch, but I want you guys to share with me your understanding of, give me example of from data to information, and you draw the knowledge, and then you gain some. You probably, we are still in the lifelong learning to gain some wisdom. So who can share your thoughts on this with us?
Okay, so I think data is like the building blocks to everything, and it like builds up everything else.
Yeah, that's why they put it in pyramid. Others? So how do you, let me ask you, how do you gain a knowledge based on information and data? Do you certainly, do you need the data?
Yes, you need the data.
Give me an example of you learned something and you think you have knowledge about it and the process that you gain it. Anything, not just study, even in your life. Like let's think about the baby learn how to walk. How do they collect data?
They watch others or
Yes, they
I think
watch others.
probably from parents.
Yes, they watch others. Yes. And then what?
they use that as information of how to walk.
Okay. And they have to try themselves, right?
Yeah, that's the applying
Yeah.
part.
Right. And then after that, they will learn how to walk. And for example, somebody who is like had a injury, who cannot walk, maybe somebody had a stroke, and they have to go through the physical therapy to relearn how to walk. So how would those kind of people apply the data, information, and knowledge? Navia, what do you think?
I think it's kind of the same way. They just observe other people walking and apply that to what they're able to do.
Yeah, they already have knowledge because they already learned how to walk. It's just that they temporarily lost that ability. They have to rebuild it. Then they have to re-input in their brain. Like when you walk, the brain as a processor receive a lot of information like the pressure, the feeling of the road through the sensor on their skin, on the foot, right? And they also have this spatial sensor of their surroundings, and they have the control of the muscles, so that make sure that they walk stable and goes to the right direction. Yeah, it's very complex for yeah, maybe this is one example. Another example is that saying that you learn a subject in school. How do you gain? Oh, okay, let's talk about this because this is very relevant. How do you gain the knowledge about COVID? How did you gain the knowledge about that I need to wear a mask, I need to wash hands, and I can avoid certain level of transmission?
Well, you first need to have the data of which about everything. For example, do people die? How do you prevent getting COVID?
Yeah, this is also a very complex topic. I just want to hear what you all think, because then this relates to next other topics on information, misinformation, disinformation, things like that. Okay, so can Ibrahim, can you share some of how did you learn the knowledge on the COVID-19 and how you learned to prevent the COVID-19? Tell me the process.
Well, first you look at like the official restrictions for like doing stuff, and you look at the explanation for like why like certain things like gathering in public is like restricted, or like not wearing a mask is like discouraged, and then you look at the reasoning, and then you form the knowledge for that.
Yeah, what does reasoning mean in this case?
Reasoning means like people without like, for example, people who don't wear masks are more likely to be infected. That's the reasoning. And helping wear a mask could help to slow down the spread of the virus.
Yeah, we need a lot of data to help us to learn this, right? There are on the TV you will see those data shows the different states how they are wearing mask, or different country if they wear mask or washing hands using those measures for pandemic, they do lower the cases. So then you actually didn't catch the COVID by trying yourself. If I don't wear mask, I go. You just by collecting those information and yes, and do a reasoning, see the data, and then you you kind of gain this knowledge, and then you gain a wisdom, because then I go somewhere that is very crowded. I know that I need to wear a mask. I need to be careful, always wash hands, because I don't want to getting COVID or any other germs, which we actually know about it for a little bit. Yeah. So, Danny, you want to share with us how you see this?
See, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So during the COVID, how did you learn?
Oh,
So Danny, yeah, you need to be focused, because every time I ask you, you always say, can you repeat again? You need to be focused. Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Mm.
you know, I got the through the news and through like my parents and other friends.
Yeah. You got the information from them.
Yeah. And I also like got them online.
Yeah. And then you decided, you learned that, okay, the wearing mask and washing hands will help me to avoid the COVID. So I would do that when I go out, when there is, yeah.
Yeah, because some of the papers were like published by like professional people, and I think it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, so the researchers, scientists who publish papers giving you data and then provide you evidence to show that yes, wearing a mask, that is on statistical level, that wearing mask, washing hands, is in fact all those touching spaces where the COVID virus will transmit will help, right? Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Navia.
Yes, hi.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about how we learned during COVID, right?
Yeah, we are learning how you through you need to rethink your process of how you went this through data, information, knowledge, and wisdom, this model to learn about that. I will, if I'm going to, like, if now maybe now we are kind of, we learned knowledge and we can have a wisdom to kind of predict, if now I'm going traveling to somewhere very crowded and that places maybe is high in the risk of COVID, I would certainly wear a mask, things like that. Yeah. So how did you learn this knowledge? You just go back 2 years of this journey of experiencing COVID. How did you learn about it?
I think, well, all of the actions I took, so like learning that you're at a higher risk if you don't wear a mask, that's data, and I use that to connect and to then wear a mask, which then gave me the knowledge, that wearing a mask is safer, and that wisdom I can use, if I'm ever in that same situation again, because I already have past data information and the past knowledge.
Yep. Yep. So let's watch another video. I collected, it must be also helpful.
The thing that's different about a Verbo vacation home, you always have the whole place.
The generally accepted DIKW pyramid represents the relationships between data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. Each stage in the pyramid adds value to the initial data. As with all models, the DIKW pyramid has its limitations and cons. Most of the criticism of the DIKW model is that it is a pyramid. The pyramid is a very strong simplification of reality, and does not reflect the actual sources of knowledge and wisdom. Some even say, there is no hierarchy. Others add stages to the pyramid, or bypass stages. There is no such thing as raw data, we collect data for a reason. So, there is already wisdom before data collection begins. Some say the model underestimates the value of data. Data is the new oil. Also, there are no generally accepted definitions. This often gives hiccups in the knowledge and wisdom phase. Knowledge requires information but also requires skills or education. Wisdom is something else, and should therefore be removed from the DIKW hierarchy. Is the real problem with the DIKW model that it's a pyramid? No, the essence remains the same, converting data into actionable wisdom. The DIKW pyramid provides guidelines. It's a simple, strong metaphor, but is still a model, a strong simplification of reality.
Okay. So does this make sense? 1 second, let me kind of. Okay. So I think we just recall our learning phase of how we learned about the COVID and how we are kind of predicting the places where we'll go and we will take those actions. It's not that clear cut, right? As for, because we are receiving information mixed with knowledge, with the data, and we do have some wisdom before we start collecting, like the past experience. Like for me, I already have a knowledge because I medical school, I learned from my textbook that those wearing mask, or when I live in Japan, Japanese people in winter, they always wear mask, whatever. Because Japanese, first, they are very clean. Second, they are living in a very small environment. Like they go to the train the train during the rush hour is very, very dense. There's no space to breathe. So they had that habit for just to cover their mouths using mask in winter. So I did have those experience. And then I did have information because my hometown is Wuhan. I have a lot of classmates, they're doctors. So I have learned that in early, before US started shut down, but we were not able to predict how US will have this long-lasting pandemic, because from the past experience of SARS, that was majorly limited in Asia. It didn't go across pandemic. So if you are experience this COVID, you can reflect a lot of facts and things, and to reflect and thinking how I learned things and how I gain knowledge and I develop my wisdom. So who wants to share? I heard somebody was talking.
Well, on the point of the video, I think that it makes sense that not all of that some people like oppose the view of like data as like a data, information, knowledge, and wisdom as like a pyramid. It's like if I think it makes sense, more sense that everything flows into each other.
Yeah, it's this is a very abstract, like simple model. If you want to develop more complex model, you will add all those things in. He has some bypass AI, and then he has like education and the past experience, stuff like that. And when we even think about how we gain a knowledge, it's like you cannot separate data and the information. So we will go next. We will talk about information more, and you will find out it's actually very complex process for defining what is information. It's easy to define. It's relevantly easy to define what is data. Okay. Next, who wants to share about the criticisms of this pyramid model? Okay. So it's fine. We're going next. We have a couple of slides to go through. Okay. So to start collecting data, we have this process. First, we want to plan to say what kind of problem we want to solve and what kind of data we want to gain. So that again comes back to that pyramid, that we must have some knowledge on the problems we want to solve. Therefore, we have a plan. Otherwise, you are doing the like expedition work. You just go there, but still you have to guide yourself with existing knowledge, so that you can plan and to get the data that you wanted, and then you make a plan and you collect the data that is acquired. And then after you acquire those data, you have to process in a way that it can be analyzed and integrate them, and then you put them in the storage. So in this whole process, you cannot talking about avoid information, because data without information is nothing. So information add context and meaning to data. So now let's go to Wikipedia is the best place for us to learn what is things out there. So let's go Wikipedia to read what is information. Okay. Okay, so I will point as last class, I will just ask people to read this. Ryan, can you read the first two sentences till here, till whereas?
Okay. Starting from information. Information is an abstract concept that refers to that which has the power to inform. At the most fundamental level, information pertains to the interpretation of that which may be sensed.
Any natural? Go ahead. You still need to read another sentence, right, Ryan?
Okay.
Ryan.
Any
Any-
natural process that is not completely random and any observable pattern in any medium can be said to convey some amount of information.
Okay, good. So Navia, can you read the next till the end of this paragraph?
Yes. Whereas digital signals and other data use discrete signs to convey information, other phenomena and artifacts such as analog signals, poems, pictures, music, or other sounds and currents convey information in a more continuous form. Information is not knowledge itself, but the meaning that may be derived from a representation through interpretation.
Yeah. Okay, Ibrahim, can you read the next paragraph?
Information is often processed. How do you say that? Iteratively. Data available at one step are processed into information to be interpreted and processed at the next step. For example, in written text, each symbol or letter conveys information relevant to the word it is part of. Each word conveys information and relevant to the phrase it is part of. Each phrase conveys information relevant to the sentence it is part of, and so on until at the final step, information is interpreted and becomes knowledge in a given domain.
Okay.
Domain.
Yes. Danny, can you read the next two sentences?
Is it from the concept of information?
No, in the digital signal.
In the digital signal, bits may be interpreted into the symbols, letters, numbers, or structures that convey the information available at the next level up. The key characteristic characteristic of information is that it is subject to interpretation and processing.
Yes. So I will. So there is very interesting things talking here: information, knowledge, representation, interpretation. These are all my well used vocabulary because my major is ontologist to represent on knowledge, so it can be interpretable and readable by both human and machine. So that is part of AI technology as well. Okay, so I will read the next. The concept of information is relevant in various contexts. So even information itself has to attach a context to it, include those of constraint, communication, control, data, form, education, knowledge, meaning, understanding, mental stimuli, pattern, perception, proposition, representation, and entropy. Okay, so I also find out. Oh, so before we watch further some YouTube, let's share of your understanding of information. And let's share your understanding of misinformation and disinformation. How would you avoid misinformation and disinformation? Ryan, do you want to share? Okay,
well,
Ibrahim,
can I
go ahead. Yes.
say something?
Yes, please.
Information is it can be like real information is easily corroborated in the real world, and misinformation, basically, if it's hard to believe, it's probably not true.
Based on your common sense,
Yeah.
but that is not necessarily right. When Newton found out, oh yeah, before who people think the Earth is flat. They do believe that is true until some scientists told them differently, and they were not. It was hard for them to understand, to accept. Okay, this is a hard question. Even for me, I'm still learning. Yes. So somebody who else want to share few words on this topic?
I know that a lot of misinformation and disinformation is spread on like social media, or sometimes some news outlets don't carry the right information. So, from what I know, it's really important to get all of your information from very factual, unbiased sources.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Or you want to find the source that is reputable and authoritative information center that give you correct guidance. But during the time of pandemic, you will see there are so many different information coming out, which sometimes contradict to each other. So you really need to have the ability, as you said, Navia, to gather the fact and to understand what kind of information is there, because there are two types of information. One is the intrinsic information about the subject. Another is a perspective information about the subject. You understand what I meant? So one is the fact about that entity. Let's say the fact about COVID. But at the time when COVID started, we don't know much about the fact. So a lot of facts are guessing. And then there are another kind of information is perspective towards the fact of the COVID. So who give this perception is important to know. So if he's a scientist, does he give this information based on a lot of papers he read, a lot of data he collected and he looked, analyzed, or if this information is given somebody who is not credible and who often just say whatever they want to say, then you need to be careful. But if in a time when you do not have enough understanding of the subject, you do really rely on some credible, trustworthy sources to give you their perspective of this subject information, right? Then, and this information is totally a different thing. It's intent to give information that is not true. So misinformation is sometimes not intentional, sometimes because people knows little about a subject and they didn't gain enough facts or didn't do a lot of critical thinking or didn't do information based on data, then they might give you a misinformation. And misinformation also comes from how you gather the information. You might be biased by gathering information. You might have only few channels you're looking at information. Or nowadays we have like blow of information. You have so many channels to gather the information. So it is a hard time, but it's a great time also. Okay. So information and information science is obviously two kinds of different things, but obviously the information science is a science to study information. So this is a subject discipline that you could learn in school, in college. So let's go to check what are the information science there. All right. Okay, who wants to read the first? You can read the whole first paragraph. Wants to read?
Information science, also known as information studies, is an academic field which is primarily concerned with analysis, collection, classification, manipulation, storage, retrieval, movement, dissemination, and protection of information. Practitioners within and outside the field study the application and usage of knowledge in organizations, in addition to the interaction between people, organizations, and any existing information systems, with the aim of creating, replacing, improving, or understanding the information systems.
Yeah. So our human brain is a natural information systems, but now everybody has multiple information system in their home. Can you give me examples of your information system that you have?
Say us Google or Wikipedia.
Yep. It is an information system. So what does Google do?
Google's basically just a search engine that in which you can find data about anything you want to.
Yes. So we want to come back to this. So information science is academic field which is primarily concerned with analysis, collection, classification, manipulation, storage, retrieval, movement, dissemination, and protection of information. So at least we can, just from the face value, we know that Google collect and they classify and they also manipulate. The Google does clone all the web pages and do some analysis. They do have analysis and they do classification. They extract information and they extract data from each web page. And in an organized way, they actually have a knowledge graph on the back end and the store, like knowledge graph is one of kind of storage. And then they give you, when you search something, come out result that is a retrieval and the movement. It's not really something related here. Dissemination. Well, whenever you upload things and it can be discovered quickly by the Google, you will disseminate your information on a web page. And the protection of information, that could be the example of Wikipedia. So Wikipedia's way is crowdsourcing. What is called crowdsourcing? Wikipedia is now become authentic authenticate place where we go find knowledge, like the correct information about something, because it has one is it's crowdsourcing, so everybody can edit on it, so which prevent some people who give biased information. And for some field, there are serious professors, they're editing those to make sure, and then they go through reviewing, and they even go through the debating. So make sure the information given on the Wikipedia is correct, is close to the truth. So it is a good information system. So who else can give me some examples of your daily use information system?
How about like research papers?
Is it a system?
Like there's some, like I mean, like there's some website or something that has like where you can search for research papers.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So let me ask you: is your phone an information system?
Is what? The phone?
Your smartphone, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let me read the next. So when it comes to protection of information, it's more like a security, cybersecurity, or any security of information and data, and the systems. So historically, information science, informatics, is associated with computer science, data science, psychology, technology, librarian science, healthcare, and intelligence agents. However, information science also incorporates aspects of diverse fields, such as archival science, cognitive science, commerce, law, linguistic, museology. I even though, oh, this is about museum. Okay, I even didn't know what it is. Management, mathematics, physics, philosophy, public policy, and social science. So pay attention to this. What I want you to understand is that whatever subject you are going to choose for your college, it always related with informatics. So the informatics is a field that has to do with how you will, it's not just analysis, because I think people now putting a misunderstanding of informatics sounds like very high. I need to do data analysis. I need to do maybe coding, but that is not that is not informatics. That's a very narrow understanding of informatics. Informatics related with how you collect information, how you classify them, how you kind of transforming them in a format that it can be easily stored, retrieved, and then how you back up, like move the information storage from one place to place, and then how you will disseminate, like publish. Even you do a website that can be like, I bet in any college curriculum, either in computer science or in information science or library science, you could find what is it? You could learn how to do a website so that dissemination information and the protection of information is about security, privacy, or those, and those are related with laws. So I'd encourage you to just to learn either informatics science or data science as a minor of whatever major you are choosing. But if you are choosing major as informatics, data science, and then try to choose some minor that is, for example, cognitive science, linguistics, management, which heavily rely on all those informatics science. But we will come back to learning itself as well. It's not all about learning in the school. Okay, so now let's go to this video about what is information thing. I found out it's very useful.
We say there's information in the memory on our phones or in our DNA sequence, but is that just an idea we made up? Or is information something real, like electrons or squirrels? Like, look at these two boxes. Both have the same number of black squares, but this one is just noise, while this one contains information. But would an alien say the same thing? If information is real, it should exist no matter who's looking, right? Okay, so this next part is going to sound like it's not related, but it is. Imagine a box full of air. Air is really just a bunch of particles flying around at different speeds, and if we add energy to the box, those particles start moving faster and the temperature goes up. One of the most fundamental laws of physics says you can't get energy out of the box unless you first add energy to it. But physics schmizzics, let's put up a wall, and a little tiny door, and a little tiny demon creature with a button that opens and closes the door. If this demon knows which particles are moving faster, it can open the door at just the right time to let them through. And over time, one side will get hotter and the other colder. And you can use that temperature difference to do cool stuff, like create electricity. Basically, that little demon lets you get energy out of the box for free, breaking the most fundamental laws of physics. Or does it? If information is really just in our minds, then yeah, this is totally impossible. But how does the demon keep track of the particles? He needs memory. It turns out that keeping his memory up to date with new information takes energy. In fact, it's the same amount of energy that you get out of the box. So he's not actually breaking the laws of physics. But what if instead of giving the demon energy to update his memory, we just give him new unused memory? He could use it to track the particles, open the door at the right time, and get energy out of the box. Does that mean we're getting energy for free? Well, no. We still have to feed the demon, just with memory instead of energy. This might all seem hypothetical, but physicists have actually made a very simple version of Maxwell's demon in the laboratory, and they used it to change the temperature of electrons using nothing but information. And that makes it seem like information isn't just something our stupid monkey brains made up. It's the thing that converts the random chaos of gas in a box into something useful. Kind of like how the information in DNA is the thing that makes a bunch of random molecules into a squirrel. Information is a catalyst that can bring order to chaos. If it's not real, then neither are we.
Okay, so I hope this gives you some insights, especially yeah, let me go back to this one. Yeah, especially here. So you can see that the data of these two figures are the same. you have the same numbers of white dots and the same numbers of black dots, but the organization of those are different. Therefore, the information noise is different, and it also gives you different perspectives. So for us, we think this is information and this is noise, right? The face is information, and another thing that we cannot make any sense. We cannot interpret it. We cannot. We think is noise, but for our alien who totally knows very different things from us, they would think the face is noise and the noise is the information for them. So there, as I said, there are two kind of perspectives of information, which towards the end of this video is more mixing up of information and the knowledge. But yeah, give you very, very concrete, I think insightful thoughts about what is information. So anybody wants to share before I move to the next? We're a little bit over time. Yeah. Maybe we can stop here. Next week, we can start talking about knowledge. Yes. Hello? Oh, okay. So I'm going to ask Navia, you want to share something about you learned today about information, data, knowledge?
Yeah, I can learn. I never really knew about the pyramid before today, with like data, then information, then knowledge and wisdom. This is the first time I heard about it, but now that I think about it, I think it really makes sense and I can apply it to what I know. So that's the first thing I learned today.
Great. Danny?
Yeah, it's really interesting, the structure, and it's like kind of I think it's more like rivers, like bodies of water flowing into each other. So like from a pond flowing into like a river, flowing into a lake, and then flowing out into the ocean.
Yeah, that is very
But it might be
nice.
in reverse because there's more data than wisdom. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Danny, you want to share something that you learned today?
Yeah, I learned I got more understanding on the information system, like how it's being used.
Rayan?
Yeah, I didn't know about the pyramid, and yeah, I never knew about that the pyramid DIWK.
Good. DIWK, I think it's DIKW actually. Yeah, DIKW. It's not DIWK. I made a mistake. Okay, so great. I think we can stop here because next week we will talk about knowledge and then types of knowledge, and there are some topics about learning. So after that, then we could start on something more technical, because I really want to make a point to you all that everybody should know about this, because it affects your decision making, the daily decision making every day. When you make a decision, how will you utilize the information, knowledge, or data that you have to make a good decision. We're facing that all the times. Okay, and then see you next week.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.